book of Job. We'll read the first verse and about two more verses, and then we'll. And there was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil, or hated evil. And then verse 13. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And then I'm going to go right to verse 19 and then kind of fill in a little bit. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men and the women as well, I'm sure. And they were dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell them. And may the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his most holy word. Touch your inner body. In the name of Jesus. Verse 5 grabbed me. I didn't read that initially, but it grabbed me. Out of all that I just read, the three verses I just read, verse 5 changed my thought pattern when I read what took place in verse 5. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were going about, that Job sent and sanctified them. The feasting, really what it was birthday parties. And they each, so there's 10 birthday parties going on a year. And they would rotate houses where they would have the birthday party. They would go to the house of the sibling whose birthday it was. They would have a party. But Job sent and sanctified them and rose up early in the morning before they got to celebrate. He would send for them and sanctify them and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. So 10 burnt offerings. He did this. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. It may be. He didn't say they did. But in case they sin, I'm going to offer a sacrifice for them. And this did Job continually. He prayed for his children continually. Which left me scratching my head. You mean to tell me that this perfect and upright man, the New Testament teaches us the prayers of the righteous availeth much. So if anyone qualified for being righteous, it was Job. You mean to tell me the prayers of this righteous man that he prayed continually, and after all the praying and offering sacrifices and sanctifying his children, all in one day, which happened to be the birthday of the oldest child, they are all wiped out. The same day he had already prayed for. He had already sanctified. Already prayed for. Because then he rose up early and did it continually. And here they are wiped out. And everything he had with his children was gone. Now, if you don't know God, I mean, if you really don't know God, if you don't know God and don't have a strong faith, it might tend to dictate to you, well, what's the use of praying? If this man prayed all the time for his children, and the same day he prayed, they're all wiped out, I better back off of praying. I said, if you didn't really know God and had the confidence that all of his ways are right, I'm almost halfway through this. But I had a conversation, I believe it was Friday, with one of my young sons in the gospel. Sometimes it's good to fellowship with folks and commune with them and talk about the things of faith. You never can tell what God will drop in your heart. And I brought up Job because I was wrestling with this. I really was. I was wrestling. I said, now this is really something. And I brought up Job and I said to him the same things that I said to you. And this is a young man. He doesn't claim, just kind of young in ministry, don't claim to have a lot of depth in God. Not necessarily read all the little heavy books, you know. He's not a doctor of theology. But he said these words to me. He said, but you know, we don't know all the circumstances, and we don't know like God knows. When I posed the question to him, look at that, after all that praying. He said, we just don't know. Apostle Paul said to the church of Corinth, now we know in part. All right. Even those of us that are tempted from time to time to think we know a lot, we just know in part. But then the time will come when perfection is going to be realized. Jesus is going to come back. We're going to see him as he is, and we're going to be like him. And there we will know, even as we know.